Hey guys, we're back with the Great Ace Attorney Adventures? Do I need to be saying that? Probably not. Anyway, last time we got to the second half of the trial, and I have a working theory on what happened now. So I talked about this last time, obviously, but I'm pretty sure Miss Olive Green, if that is her real name, which I do feel like that might be relevant, the fact that we don't even know it yet, got hit in the head by a flying projectile thrown by Mrs. Garradeb, and covered up. Vision cast on Mr. Natsume. What special contents do we have? And do we have the costumes? Do we have any unlocked? Yes, we do. Iris's homemade suit. Like, just steampunky. Suzato, oh, that looks kind of cool actually. And Parallax Sholmes is, oh no, get that away from here. Oh, outfits are only in the second game. What the heck? There's none in the first? Accolade, are these the... Okay, I assume these are the same as the Steam achievements. I saw one about step ladders. Yeah. Oh, they're both in Resolve? What the heck? They're both in the same episode too, okay. It's kind of cool you can see where they are though. Okay, anyway. Get back to it. We have another summation examination this time, which is kind of like one's enough, right? I feel like they could, well, so you can't cut the one in the very beginning of this case just because it's so contrived, right? That we're relying on the jury member being, you know, relevant to the case. That's very lucky, right? Consider the defense counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to the procedure. Thank you, Judge. So, counsel, you'll now proceed with your second summation examination. How many are we going to have in the final case, you think? Like 4? Presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman. We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Judicial finding. Jurors' contentions. Hughes left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. There's some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Although, of course, with this theory, we have to, you know, with the, you know, there's a flying projectile that hit Olive Green's head. We have to explain how the Natsume's books got there, and then why they replaced the book in her hand with the lion's pride. Anyway, even if the woman is throwing books, can't relate to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Hearing me, it's only a little book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. I mean, if it's coming from the second story if you're British, you know, you threw it and it hit you in the head, that could hurt. I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. But to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. Give me the sneezes. That's good grounds to find someone guilty. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover... Oh, that is actually a very big point I haven't really thought about. If Natsume wasn't at the crime scene and, you know, he just witnessed the old man falling down. And never mind how the books got there. Who was at the crime scene with Olive Green? No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it seems as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I really hope they don't end up bringing in the Shakespeare guy. Like, you know, given he hasn't been here this entire time. I'm hoping he's just a 5th case character. Go to see how it can be argued any other way. That means, I'm afraid, During this summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. How? How do you even constitute a tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman? And how? Those two details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure then. Quite enough preamble. Proceed with a summation examination, please. Presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Slap your cheeks. Twice! Does it always slap him twice like that? Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Should I say Mrs. Garrideb? I have a book that disappeared from the Garrideb's house on the evening of the incident. The 4th book found in the victim's hand. Okay, so there was one other thing I thought about. I haven't mentioned it up until now, but I just remembered it and I decided I'm going to throw it out there, okay? So anytime in anime where there's an overweight character, right? You go, oh, hey, that's an overweight character. Why are they there? Well, I mean, that's a rude way of putting it, but like, you know, most of the time everyone's, you know, super attractive anime character, right? But Mrs. Garrideb, olive green, they're both, you know, similar stature, right? We saw in Mr. Garrideb's apartment a picture of him and his wife, but the wife's face was covered. What if actually they switched places for some reason or the other? And I don't even know, but Ace Attorney has done crazier stuff, right? There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Okay, sorry, I had to cut it. Did I read this one? Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garrideb and how she reacts, even to the other things other people say. So we're gonna have to like press people and then like do the one thing. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. He was left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. Okay, you know, meta reasoning. I believe Bruce and someone else didn't get summationed last time, so he's gonna get summation this time. As we don't know, there are 4 books, not 3. Well, yeah, okay, look, we can look around. What difference does it make? There's every possibility the 4th book belongs to the defendant's landlord. Part I have a problem with. Sorry? The point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? During a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's exactly how I put it, no. Anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. Think? That's what you call a strong alibi. Couldn't have been the landlord who did it. Which leaves only the Nipponese fellow. I can't see what all this palaver's about? It's a done deal, isn't it? Suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. There's a novel alternative. Is that a pun? Did the translators put a pun in there? Let's press this. Maybe something about the window. There's no way it could have been, but windows can't open. Prosecutor over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. Don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. I still like they had spare window panes from like centuries earlier because of the window tax. Well, I know it ended in the 1850s. I don't know when the window tax started. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and sitting warm. Can't prove it wasn't open. Just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. So they weren't even having windows, huh? Counsel, gather your friend from Childish Bickering. Oh, sorry. You need to show there's an undeniable possibility the window is open. Wait, does it have to do with the sneezing? Let's press this first and then present it. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defense's culpability? Oh yeah, I guess if there's a fire, they would have opened the window to let the smoke out. The candles on a cake? Look at a devil worship? An angel cake. That's a stupid pun. Okay. And open the windows to clear it. Yeah. The windows. Okay. Ah, no, Susanoo, shut up. We've got to press one of them to find something about it, right?
Objection.
Those two juror statements clearly contradict one another. Don't point at me again. Told you it wasn't me. Ah, what's that you say? Speak up, lad, speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? You hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year. Seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, it'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Recording, right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. Exactly. The day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrideb household. Mr. Garrideb had the following to say about it. I still like my they replaced it quickly theory. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh. Pursue!
Excuse me.
Why are you drinking tea over there? You have something to say about that? Mrs. Garrideb. Oh dear me. What's the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. Like, I don't know. Was Olive Green actually the wife and Garrideb was? Like, she was the wife and she was the maid? I don't even know. One of them was a maid, one of them was a wife. What is it? Or maybe one of them's Mary. And the fire started in your house that day. Did you or your husband open the window? But I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. A situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Or... Okay, so I have theory A, right? You already heard it. Theory B, Olive Green, who I assume is the real Garrideb, and this is Mary something. Right? Okay, you with me so far? Although, we don't know who James is yet. Is this James? I mean, like, John James, they both start with J, right? Right? So the Mrs. Garrideb, she died from like I don't know, hitting her head or something, right? Wait. Well, not died, you know, fell into a coma, right? And so they had Mrs. Garrideb go down, fall over, and right then they brought the body, stuck a knife in his back, and well, this guy was out cold. Literally cold, but that's a lot more convoluted. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window. In that case, juror number 6 would have maybe be involved too, because the books, I don't even know. But I feel like I've got an idea of what's going on, but I can't fit the pieces together. Can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire. You never stop throwing until the anger subsides. Terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, should have realized. It's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruto. Managed to establish the window was open. Simply, must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's formal statement. Do I have to hit these two now? I guess.
Hold it.
Oh, come on. They didn't vote innocent though. Or do we have to finish this line of reasoning without interjecting? I'm gonna lose so much HP here.
Hold it.
Come on! He's a banker. So yeah, I mean, we do need 4 innocent votes, but maybe we're not trying to do the classic thing. Window is open at the time. Clean for granted, but it's true. Try pressing this. The 4th book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of fire damage. The title of the book is The Lion's Pride. Same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrett told us he'd been reading. Really couldn't say. Did you or did you not throw out your husband? Copy of The Lion's Pride that he'd been reading. I did. Oh. The first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. Now you come to mention it, yes. Certainly enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? What, poor guy? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man, I didn't remember. Times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as you well know. Yeah, as I well know. Really don't.
Oh boy.
Oh? Barely notices throwing a book, much less the title of it. What does that have to do with anything?
Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5? Was a book thrown at you as you were walking by? You know something? I've remembered what it was. That memory I'd blocked out. Ah. Listening to what this granny was saying, brought it all flooding back. Who you calling a granny, you cheeky devil? Mrs. Garrett, or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time. It's about 2 weeks ago now. Just got back home after work. Like, put my hand in my pocket for the wagers I just earned that day. Nearly died. The whole, every last penny had dropped out. Oh dear, what a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it, boy. Oh? The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. Chicken. Could hardly get the words out. Hold her straight. Lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck into the wall next to me, it did. About an inch deep. No words, just terror. What's with all the abusive wives in this case? Could smell it then, you know. That god-awful stench of the Thames. Sure, it's gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now, that's a real disaster, isn't it? Never use the word lightly again. Anyway, point I'm trying to make is this. Women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. I wasn't thinking that. Knowing household objects with people as well, so uncivilized. Just attack with honor, using a bow or the like. What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words. It'd be rather significant, I think. Alright, come back to the bow and arrow thing later. I dare. Do you amend your testimony? Yeah, okay, is it 2 that it... Okay.
Objection.
Which is my favorite Super Smash Brothers character. I played the 3DS Kid Icarus. Good game if you haven't played it. Anyway, here number 2. Do you think perhaps this could be one such novel alternative? I hope it wasn't they threw the dagger and it just happened to stab her in the back and she's in a coma for some reason. Oh my, whatever do you mean? Turn of explanation. Now the victim was stabbed in the back. What are you talking about? Demonstrated that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, is found at the scene of the crime. Originated in Mr. Garrett's room at the top floor of his house. Or it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett household to the street below. Eh? What's that now? After all, Mrs. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now, you little beanhole? Is that a saying? You need to think that. This is the true origins of this book came to light. If she's had a feeling this might be what happened. Now you listen here, you Eastern Galah. As the foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. Give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house. But what? What was it? Really taking a big gamble here. That's a bold accusation to make. I haven't had any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least this warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman, I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garrett household at the scene of the crime was the jackknife.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garrett. What now? Must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Good Lord, Counsel! What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man! My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garrett were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garrett was hurling anything she could at her husband, but backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and through which a book sailed to land at the crime scene. You can't seriously believe that! The book was found in the victim's grasp, and so she bent over to pick it up, and then the knife landed in her back. That's... I mean, I guess if a knife landed in your back and you're bending over, you might hit your head on like the pavement. That feels a little too clean though. Saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand? Huh, even my missus hasn't got aim like that. Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. That's the point. It's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Mrs. Garrett, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Thud. My lord! I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word after all. Thank you, madam. Yes, I agree. Sure they didn't see this coming, but... So they're gonna replace Mrs. Garrett on the jury, right? Because she's like, you know, very biased. Just don't think it'd be right for the trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman. I'd have to agree. Now that I think the granny didn't mind. Yes, you know what? Not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. Oh, the old man, he's like, yeah, he's not into it. We did it! Congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo. So, as a result of the defense's summation examination, number of jurors' leanings have changed. 2 jurors call guilty, against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. This trial will continue. Okay, how am I gonna stall now? We'll just keep stalling. We'll get some new evidence that'll prove everything. Now then, Lord Van Zieks, how does the prosecution wish to proceed? First, some alcohol. This trial's rapidly descending into a farce. Don't throw it into the candlestick. Oh, he's drinking it. Like a corked wine, first few sips are bitter enough. Oh, come on! That's perfectly good wine! What follows is repugnant. It's good for nothing save the gutter. If I may, Lord Van Zieks, defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. Well, let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourself better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? Zingle this time. It would already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Garrett household, the street, there's a rather wide street, Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Garrett house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards? Then 14 meters. That means nothing to me. 14 meters? That's a little farther than I imagined. As you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as your portentous significance, as having, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, a smoldering book, wantonly hurled by the lady of the house, traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy, somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. That's unfair. I call Wilson to the stand to refute that. Don't stand up. Come on, dude. Get back up. Don't think I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Susano, it's true. Serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare? Well, all they have at the times is home. So I mean, they don't have, like, you know, Agatha Christie. Yeah, you know, they don't got. Well, I mean, SS Van Dyne, you know, we don't talk about that guy. I'm still mad about the Canary murder case. It's been like 6 years, still mad. Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak? As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense, yes. Go ahead. Prosecution may consider the idea fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. As such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination. Saints alive! It's not that crazy. A cross-examination of a juror? Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It's unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
And unnecessary. Lord Van Zieks! There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. My learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. We must assume they would be able to testify accordingly. I mean, they very well could have missed it. What say you, witnesses? She's just having fun boxing with him. Yes, sir. Constable Yoli Beat reported for duty, sir. Well, I love the little jingle. Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing off until now, sir. Haven't slept for a month. The kind of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir. You're still here with these London bobbies. Patricia, my darling, been neglecting you, but no more. Oh, Yoli, my hero. Yeah, see, you think these two are really paying attention to the sky? You make me swoon. Very well. Hereby request the defense's request. Reject the defense's request. Come on. Oh. He's a simp for Dracula's. Nor do the witnesses in the stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Is Mrs. Garadeb still passed out? Yes, or who we believe is Mrs. Garadeb. Witness testimony. Constable Beats report. It says nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. Oh, he's actually testifying this time. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garadeb house are top hinged casements. Then, obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go fetch help, but Trusty Yoli was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Not for, you know, little did I? This is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows. Can you define that for me, please? That detail is not in the police report, Constable. Yes, sorry about that. I just went a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir! Sorry, but what exactly is that top-hinged casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance in such trite remarks. Don't say trite. That gives me flashbacks to a guy in a mask. My learned friend. Of course. Sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruhodo. It's in the book, of course. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garredub's room. And I'll try. Observation powers, go! The window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. Okay. Oh, okay, it's one of those. This is a top-hinged casement window. It swings open along the upper edge, you see? Glad you've rectified your ignorance. Casement window's most prominent feature? The stay. Middle bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount. It prevents it opening? It's all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, a book or knife would have been thrown through the open window, would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below. No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. Next you'll learn Linux. There's never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered. Something we've discounted already. That's... I can't be... I knew that was coming. See that, Gully? Young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh yes, my darling, I saw this. Why you saw how he crumbled before me? Oh, Gully, you're so strong. What else is happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet. Already my argument's been destroyed. Counsel, you drag yourself upright again. The court awaits your cross-examination. My lord. Oh, good. The desperate situation. Cross-examination. Constable Beats report. I wonder if we... Oh, I only have 2 HP left. This has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garredub. Believe me, London Bobby is good for his word. Now let's press that. You mean they don't open fully, is that correct? Yes, just there to allow a bit of air through the house, you see? They're restricted as to how much they open. If for anything thrown out the window from inside the room, we strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here's the location where objects would have fallen. So they would have... It's not possible they moved the body across the street without anyone noticing. Directly the opposite of the scene of the crime, the other side of the rather wide road. Have been so hard for somebody to mention this top-hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. What would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea what sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Garredub's house is furnished with? Oh, well, sir, very simple. See, after the investigation yesterday. Oh!
Excuse me.
You have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry? You look, well, delighted. Some particular reason for that? Oh, was she there too? That's just remembering, that's all. Really were. So lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. You're just so lucky you didn't happen on Yoli's beat. It was so close, you see? Oh, I hadn't realized. Why would he investigate if it wasn't his beat? Is that street Briar Road? That's the boundary between Yoli's beat and the next one. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. I love these two's design, by the way. Like, I've mentioned this before, just... Oh, yes, that's right! That's the reason I was helping out with the interviewing the occupants of the Garredub household yesterday. Your house is on my beat, you see, son? What, so they have to split it? Like that? You'd think it would just be where the crime takes place. You know, that person handles that crime and they go wherever. Really was cutting it close then. Constable, wonder if you could clarify something. Wait. He didn't drag the body across the street so that it would be on, so he would have less work. If the Garrett household is on your beat, does that mean the pavement next door is as well? Outside Mr. Garrett's house? Yes, ma'am. Pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if the woman had been attacked just on the other side of Briar Road, would never been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. Oh my god. And that's the life of a Bobby, after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. You know what I think? I think it's the good Lord's way of rewarding my Rolly for all of his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruto. Case file. Now it's my turn, I think. If anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. Leave the scene to go fetch help. The trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. So, like, I know what I need to do. I don't know how I present it, though. Take my eye off the crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report in that. Let's start here and then do the next one afterwards. Said you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer. That's right, yes. Could have been on Rolly's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course. Don't feel bad, my love. You couldn't be expected to know the location of every police box. Yeah. Rolly told me the way. We got a little lost on the way, so he had a lot of time. Probably gave her the wrong directions. Terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Okay. Oh, please. I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. Like I said, my Rolly was at the scene the whole time, making sure nothing was disturbed. Off duty at the time, of course. True Bobby's never really off duty. Sah. Take my eye off the crime. Well, hold on. I want to look at the evidence first. What does the case file say exactly? It's just outside Constable Beat's beat. Okay, we don't have a third page. Press. Nothing to report. I wonder if this is that we press everything and it automatically goes on, because I don't feel like you can present on this. My eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene. Nothing else was removed from it. Swear to that on this guard's honor. Sah. Really? That seems a little strange. Beg your pardon, sir? Stranger, sir? Seems altogether regular to me. Burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Garrett household. How did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that? Seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time? Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burned as well? I mean, that's highly unlikely. Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? We can see she had a bag over her shoulder. Oh, that's a good point. Well, so, the book was in the lady's hand for the moment you arrived at the scene. That's all. Something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. Two mysteries of how the knife ended up in her back, and that book ended up in her hand. Must be some common thread between them. We do need testimony from Mrs. Garrett. We're gonna get to the truth of this matter. But how far it is across the road, how that window opens. Found its way to the scene of the crime somehow. Okay, let's press everything. If that doesn't work, we're going to present at the final.
Hold it!
You're good for your word. How can you say that for certain? Answer is this! Are we going to get that as evidence? I remember it. What the job's all about. Ah. You're so manly! Of course I am! These two might be my favorite witnesses in the game so far. I mean, how can you say for certain this case has nothing to do with them? I see, Saw. Should have said so earlier, Saw. Answer the question? Answer to the fullest of my ability. A praising reason. Before I get to that, sir, just one thing. Yes? Very much like you and all countrymen to understand the great British institution of Scotland Yard. Hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles. We don't drag bodies across the street. Planning on going back just yet? Only just arrived here. With that ended, so I'll be happy to lend you my warrant card. Join you? Okay, yeah, we definitely have to press everything then, because we just got 2 pieces of evidence, not just 1. I'll try. Warrant card has been added. Okay, yeah, okay, we got both pieces, so now it goes on. Let's take a look at this. Policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Building officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Remember, I noted how they mentioned this twice. This case, right? If something's brought up twice, that means it's relevant. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Crimes discovered on his beat, policemen must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Yeah, okay, there we go. OBS, you going good? Okay, yeah. Yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word. I am. No, I trust her completely. I really don't remember ever suggesting I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Yes, Mrs. Beat. I'll allow you to supplement your testimony if you so desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one. That's a very loud mutter. I heard that. A Japanese man thinks a policeman's wife word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, sir. I let you get away with something like that. My role you won't. Duly noted, Mrs. Beat. I humbly ask you to continue. Could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? Know what I saw? My eyes never let me down. So my sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though. I guess we press this?
Hold it!
Mrs. B, nobody's questioning what you've told us. I saw it, I didn't? That evening, I saw it clearly. Little Easter man with whiskers and the funny curved back, sinking away from the scene. I know what I didn't see as well. So, is the possibility of him seeing juror number 6 just wrong? Wait, I don't see how that plays into it. That's what confuses me. It's like, if Natsumi being at the scene of the crime makes complete sense. Was that just a red herring? Anyway, and I know what I didn't see as well. See any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes, well, a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up at the wrong place when I made arrangements to meet Rolly. It gets ever so cross. Ooh. You got a headache?
Excuse me.
Constable Beat. Is there a problem? Eh? No, sir. No problem, sir. Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps? Well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. Just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all. You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident? Well, you see, sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over for mine. She's gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. But she'd be back inside 10 minutes. My darling was gone for a good 15. Oh, Rolly, you're such a tease. The reason I was so long is because of the bouquet, silly. Did you say bouquet? Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about? It's a present for our wedding anniversary. Really so romantic. Saved up for it with farthings and pennies. Pennies? Under the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes. How romantic. Actually, those were bribes he took. He's evil. Forgetting all about it until just now. And you, my darling? Ah! No, yes. But that was just between us. Not talking about it to anyone else, darling. Ooh, you have no problems. Really? Oh. What was that all about? Master Volbeat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. And I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhodo. Quite sure of one thing. To ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat! The bouquet you just mentioned. I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? I'd love to. He's just having a time. I kind of forgot he was there. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. I don't see how that's relevant. Do we have evidence about that? Is it in a picture? What is it on the map? You see it anyway? I guess we press it again?
Hold it!
You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. I was so upset. I ran over and saw it was the woman with a knife in her back. So shocked, I dropped the bouquet you rolled gave me. At a dark spot where the streetlights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice at first. Then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes! Came back to the scene all together with the other constable, you see? That's when I spotted my bouquet again. Funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it's nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Mrs. Beat, victim is not deceased. Oh, I think everyone forgot about that. I was all flustered for a moment when I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right. Telling me I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm gonna blame the bouquet this time. Can't think how it got there. I really can't. Okay, we somehow moved from one side of Priory Road to the opposite. Curious indeed. Isn't it? Worst of it is, I forgot to pick it up again after we left the scene. That beautiful rose Rolly bought me. That change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. Wait. Oh, it's just ... By bouquet. Oh, no. Do you mean perhaps this... You mean this sorry, solitary rose? Oh! Yes, that's it! Oh no, she's mad! She's mad! It's the bouquet Rolly bought me for our anniversary. The old bits of change he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose. Tell us, Lord Banseeks, where do you come by the flower? You know, I mean, a rose by any other name or something like that. I don't know the whole saying. According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it's found on the edge of the pavement in front of the Garradeb household. In front of the Garradeb's house? Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Believed to be of no relevance to the case, it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. Can I have it back now, please? No, I think for good measure, the ghost should be added to the court record as evidence. Oh. Yep. Like I've seen the stab victim caused her to drop the rose where she stood. But the symbol of our love. Want it back after the trial. You hear me? I want it back. Good grief. Yes, sure, I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Beat. Okay, what do we present at? She left the scene to go fetch help. He was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. Is there something we haven't pressed yet? I think there was one. Have we? Did we press the final statement? No! Why? Okay. I don't think we can present anything here yet. But I know what it is, right? Like he moved the body across the street, but proving that with... I think we already pressed this one. Beg your pardon? Strange song? Yeah, okay. Different count? No. See, if I had 5 HP, I'd just be presenting stuff, but I'm low on health. That jury killed me. Okay, hold on. So we got quite a few new pieces of evidence. The rose, the warrant card, the case file. It's one of these. London Bobby's good for his ward. Windows on the top floor of the garret over. Yeah. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out, we would have seen it. Did leave the scene. Have we pressed that one?
Hold it!
I don't think we've pressed this one. Then I got down. Yeah, okay, we haven't pressed this yet. Strolling along, gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry. The star without guidance to eternal happiness. Can it guide you to answer the question? They would have noticed the book. Well, if they would have noticed it, I mean, if it dropped straight down, maybe they wouldn't have. Troy, should have said that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you. Yes, sir, that's correct, sir. It seems like they're telling the truth. And we saw the poor woman fall to the ground, so we ran straight over to help her. Okay. I think we did that one. Let's press it again just to be safe. Okay, we did this one. What do we... What does the game want from me? You drop the bouquet and end up losing my way. Take off my eyes off the crime scene for one moment. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. We pressed that, right? We just pressed that. Okay, look, this is a moment where we do something very underhanded, but it has to be done, right? Go to Google, game FAQs, grade 8 Saturday. Spoiler-free walkthrough. Here we go. We want to go to Cloudy Kokoro? Yes. Trial part 2. Okay. Percent anniversary bouquet on the last statement. You got me. I mean, I see. How is this? Wait, we haven't examined it. Oh. I don't know if the guide said to examine it or not, but the very stylish paper that flowers wrapped in. Yeah, newspaper. Just all newspaper, Mr. Nari. Hold on. Something wrong? I look some. Wait, sorry. It's a cake? No. Rose. English rose. The beautiful flower. He knows 3 types of flowers. 3? Plum blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. That's all you need to know. The PPB, as they say. I don't get the logic of presenting the rose in particular. He's like, I know what he's trying to prove, but... You claim, Constable Beat, there's nothing to report in the 15 or so minutes regarding the scene. That cannot be. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policeman assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection.
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. Considering the size of the meager bouquet, a single sorry bloom can be described. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Wow. Meager. But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? We're really claiming he didn't testify about the rose being blown? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belongs to me. So that had nothing to do with the case. That's what Rolly didn't mention, and I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? He knows we know. Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Garredub's book. Mr. Garredub's copy, The Lion's Pride, just thrown out the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garredub's house. There's no logical explanation for those things unless somebody deliberately moved them. Oh, the jury's muttering. Ooh. What's he talking about? What are you trying to say? The way you're talking sounds like you think my Rolly's done something wrong. Don't listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says. Put it on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking, that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garredub's come around. Yeah, I kind of forgot about her. How long was she passed out? They call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garredub. Deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, you got the book. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering? You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend. Who would possibly have had cause to carry out such a deliberate deception? There's someone who tampered at the scene of the crime that evening. All of the evidence and all the testimony points to that one particular person. Counsel must demand that you substantiate this conjecture. Who are you saying was responsible for tampering at the scene of the crime? One Rolly Beat. He's only 23? Jeez, okay.
Take that!
I think he's younger than Kazuma. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat! It was you! What? A policeman? Member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. Okay. No, Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat? You said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. 15 minutes you were absent from the scene. It's the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? But it was him. He did it.
Objection!
While he was guarding the scene? That was true. Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh. Forgive me for pointing it out. When you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection!
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. Now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. Yeah, you claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime: to hide something. Not true. That's right, he's right. My husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. Why would he have anything to hide? Doesn't make sense. I offer no motive for this alleged tampering. Until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat has a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Have you managed to solve this mystery? Yeah, I solved it 30 minutes ago. Counsel, in a very serious accusation. You're mistaken? Sure. I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. Good thing you have 2 hit points though. Strike warning in mind, you'll now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. ... His motive for tampering was where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That's what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? Told you at the very start, didn't we? The pavement of Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here. If anyone didn't already know. Certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, counsel. That's your assertion. The court is dying to know, my Nippon-ese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Right around here. This better not be wrong. But that's the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garudev's book fell directly down from the open window above. Your bouquet, Mrs. B, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself. Good gracious, we haven't even proven anything yet.
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right. I saw it with my own eyes. 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid? That was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Wheat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. During the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books, moved everything intact to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What? Why did he overlook the bouquet? The bouquet, I presume? Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeke said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously, which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position, the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. We're really dragging this out, huh? And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rolly Beat. He was asleep the whole time. Oh, well, I'm very sorry. Didn't mean to nod off again. Haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Rolly. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know. I had a dream. Terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. That sounds like a confession to me. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Are they not going to make us present the thing? Good golly! Order! 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 I mean, if we're not presenting this, why do we have it then? Policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. They can walk 20 miles around his beat. Furtherance of community relations. Any crimes fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they're discovered. Crimes discovered, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations. This can only be relevant to him. What on earth is the meaning of all this? Oh, Rolly, why? Why would you do something like that? Moving our corpses? It's a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one too. Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? You respected member of Scotland Yard. Your duty is to protect the good people of London Town. I can't say. Oh, okay, they're gonna make me. Can't say so. What? Really, I'm ever so sorry about all this. We're damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything. I have a possible explanation. For why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. You think of one reason. What? How can you possibly know? It's in the court record. You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zeeks is this foreigner who's uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear the extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, you better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan. Makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. You wanted a day off.
Take that!
Realize I'm a foreigner in this land. Well, only just arrived from Japan. Where all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example. Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. No doubt the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special? How? Oh, they're not going to make us present like the specific one? It's like, you know, like the past Ace attorneys always did that. They always made you feel like an idiot. Like, oh, which one is it? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife. So looking forward to taking out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. He saw the shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them. What must have gone through the man's mind? So not one particular day. I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. What's up with me being married to a Bobby like me? And to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend me earlier. That among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that, or is it not, the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said. It's all right. So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh. Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious! Constable, you realize the gravity of what you've done? It's the first time since I became a copper that I ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. Criminal could be lurking somewhere. We ran over to the scene, to every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. And I report this to the station as quickly as possible. Then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, what that meant for me. Crime is discovered on his beat. Policemen must assist with initial investigation and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? Why tonight? Of all nights? Why? The copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. Couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. You'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along nearest M Street and then... Really cutting to everyone. Oh, it's out of his mouth now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Constable. I just wanted just that one night. Take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Yoli. Just that one night. You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. So you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street, the east pavement of Briar Road falls under the neighboring beat's care. You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see? I beg your pardon? Well, of course he did. Otherwise, my Rolly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pit. I forgot about that bit. Oh, that makes it a lot worse. Actually, as he was dragging her, he hit her head on the pavement. That's why. God, that's awful. I see your meaning now. But God gave me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why. I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, really? That's all my fault. I'd never have dropped it in such a dark place. So sorry, Yoli. Can you tell us, Constable? How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total? Oh, 4 it was. Yes, sir? Definitely. 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir. That's how I found it. How you found it? What do you mean? When I first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, make sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. Fourth book's information has been updated. In her hand when Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what was happened. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see? The 2 people at the scene, Pat and me, both saw it happen. Every which way you looked at it, had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. Couldn't see the harm, really. Didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. Guess this is it for me now? I've had it. My lord. Yes, Lord Van Zieks? I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw. Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir? What will become of my Yoli? What will happen to him? I mean... Would they fire him or just give him a slap on the wrist? For now, you're free to go home. Police will contact you in due course. I want to know what happens. You can't do that to me. Please don't punish my husband. This is all my fault. Because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. I mean, he probably does deserve to get fired, but look at him. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. Get fired and get like a healthier job for you. All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable. Actually, like, could you stay here and like, you know, be a witness? Be like, oh yeah, actually no, that was different. That might be useful. Sir? Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you. Yes, I wonder if Van Zieks is gonna be kind of on our side now. Because, you know, before he thought it was literally impossible. Carve that lesson in your mind. I still don't know, is he like a good guy, or is he Yvonne Karma? And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime. Oh, he's not fired! Never again, sir? You mean to say? Leave now. This trial's not yet over. Sir! I hope those 2 show up again. Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of the crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there's some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime. No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there's someone else. Another person who could be responsible for that knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already. Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Name the person, if you will. Further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. Name this other person who could have,
Take that!
Friends would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord. Once again, my assistant has made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4. This is Joan Garadeb. Me? Why are you acting surprised? Oh, dearie me! That request has already been denied.
Objection.
Oh, come on! The situation is very different now. Mrs. Garadeb, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? Not a toad? Time of the incident, you're engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Garadeb. Course of the argument, their names are John and Joan. Minor house fire was ignited. Clear the smoke from the room. Your husband opened a window that overlooks Briar Road. What of it? Throw this book at your husband, and he was cornered with his back against the window. Struck the pane of the top hinge. It plummeted directly below, finding its way to what we now know to be the true scene of the incident. As I said, what of it? During this argument, you're beside yourself with rage, that you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Garadeb. This knife, when removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Ah, come on, you can't give us the I don't recall. Seriously. Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? Anyway, man, I mean, look, this is America. You don't have freedom. You don't have the Fifth Amendment. I assume the British, well, maybe not at the time, but I assume they have something like that nowadays, right? Man over there and all that your gaily said members of the jury needed to testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes. Come on, call her to the stand. No recollection of saying that at all. Juror number 4. Yeah, let's go! Oh! Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. He can't have them getting any funny ideas. You're not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madam, let the truth come out. But that's just a common garden knife. Could have been from anywhere. You have several like that at home. If one went missing, how do you expect me to know? So you say, oh, that's a confession. What's that? Are you joking? What are you saying, please, Mrs. Garadeb? Now you listen to me. I first believe all this nonsense. Couldn't bear the thought that I had injured someone, do you hear? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So, yes, I want evidence. I want to see the hard evidence if you're going to insist on this being my fault. How far? Oh, geez, we're like an hour, 20 minutes in, aren't we? You're gonna have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? If I had evidence like that, believe me, would have thrown it at her already. Just like the knife that she threw. Then take the stand, juror. Oh! The prosecution does not object to the defense's requested cross-examination of this woman. Didn't you just object 2 minutes ago? Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. I'm gonna have to testify. Juror number 4. I'm sure you'll appreciate, having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garadeb. Mark my words. This court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels? Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's me, yeah. That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Okay, that's it. Oh, is that new music? This is such a strange feeling. First time since arriving in this country. It actually feels real. I'm here at the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. We're actually finding the truth. How about that? We might actually have justice be served. Maybe. Jury's still out on that one. Literally, it's 4-2. Anyways, see you guys next time for what should be the finale. This case is so long already. It has to be the end, right? See you guys then. Bye.